Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome back. This is Mr. Purdy recording a video on Thursday, trying to get it done before Memorial Day weekend. So I don't have to do a whole lot on the weekend, nor should you. So I hope you're staying safe and staying healthy. And, I'm sure you're tired of people saying that all the time, but it is true. This is kind of one of those weeks where you can just kind of take a deep breath and just realize this is probably the easiest part of, this might be one of the easiest sections of the entire school year. The calculator is going to do all the work for you. Now, you're going to need a graphing calculator for this, so pause the video if you need to and go grab your graphing calculator. This won't make any sense to you. This means nothing to you if you don't have a graphing calculator. So grab a graphing calculator. I don't care if you use Desmos. You can put it in Desmos also, but you need some sort of graphing utility to do this. Okay, now that we're back, and I will show you my graphing calculator, the one I've used in my classroom. Here's the idea here. You're going to see a bunch of quadratics. These are all quadratics. Quadratic is all squared. What we're going to do is we're going to find one of these four, because they all mean the same thing. If you remember ROID was range, output, Y, and dependent. And then we had Dixie, which is domain, input, X values, and independent. Well, this is kind of the same, it's kind of an acronym. I call it Xerxes. I have this a little out of order, but if you go ZRXS. I know that's not how you spell Xerxes. It would start with an X. I get it. But Xerxes is zeros, roots, x-intercept, and solutions. These all mean exactly the same thing. So know this vocabulary very, very well as you move forward the rest of this year and in Algebra 2. Because this vocabulary is going to be very, very important. They might ask you, find the roots of the function. That's what this is. Find the zeros of the equation. Find the x-intercepts of the parabola. Find the solutions of the quadratic. I mean, they could phrase it so many different ways, but it's all asking the same thing. Now, you could factor this right now. You could move the 25 over and take square roots. And we all know the answer is 5 and negative 5. What I want to show you how to do is how to do this on the calculator. So this is not going to be a whole lot of writing where I'm going to do parentheses and all that stuff. Not going to do that today. Okay, what I'm going to do is show you how to put each one of these into the calculator. Now, to do that, everything has to be on one side of the equation. So in other words, you need 0 all by itself. You could have y by itself because y is 0. When you find the x-intercept, remember, see how this, you're going to start seeing how all this comes together. The x-intercept, remember a long time ago, the x-intercept was when y is 0. So y should be by itself, or y could be 0. If you can follow my cursor here, see that? F of x is just a y. Sometimes, like when we get here, we'll have a little bit of work to do. But let me show you how to do this now. Now, what you do is you go to your graphing calculator. I'm going to switch over. It's x squared minus 25 is what we're going to put in. Now, where it says 0, that's the y. Okay, y and 0 are interchangeable. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our graphing calculator, go to y equals, and type in x squared minus 25. X squared minus 25. And what we want to do now is just hit the graph key. And what we're going to find here are the two x-intercepts. The two x-intercepts, all that counts. I don't care about the y-intercept, I care about the x-intercept. Well, if you look here, if you can see my cursor, this is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this crosses at 5, and this crosses at negative 5. Excuse me. And that's not a surprise, because remember when we did this, okay, x, if you factor this, you get x plus 5 and x minus 5. So your two answers are positive and negative 5. Those are solutions. Those are the roots, the zeros, and on the calculator, we call them the x-intercepts. They all mean exactly the same thing. Now, I know you're probably thinking, Mr. Purdy, why didn't you just show us this last time all along? Well, my goal, remember, is to show you how to do every single thing. That's my goal here when we do this, is to show you how to do every single thing, if I can. Okay, let's do this one here. Y is by itself. That's okay. That's just like a 0. And we're going to put this into the graphing calculator. Now, we could factor this. In fact, that's what I had to do when I took Algebra 1. We didn't have a graphing calculator. I've told you that many times. We're just going to, I had to do this by hand. I had to either use the quadratic formula, which we'll learn next week, all right, or I had to factor this or solve it many different ways. But this is the graphing calculator. By the way, this is the third way Remember, I told you there's 4 ways to solve a quadratic. This is the third way today. That's all we're doing is the third way. So now, I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to go to y equals and hit clear. Got to have a graphing calculator to do this. I'm going to type in x squared plus 11x plus 11x. Remember the x key is next to the green key, and then plus 24. Now, we could factor this and then solve it, but why would we if we can just graph it and find the x-intercepts? Now, where does this parabola cross the x-axis? Well, -3 and -8. If you look at it, it's -3 and -8. And that's not a surprise, because remember, when you factor this, this is right off of your notes, so make sure you always have your notes. When you factor this, I just want to show you one of these. I'm not always going to factor it for you. I just want to show you, when you factor this, it's x plus 8, x plus 3. And when you solve it, remember it's set equal to 0. When you solve it, you set it equal to 0. So this answer is -8, and this answer is -3. And see, no surprise that when you go back here, you've got -3 and -8. It's pretty cool how it works. Kind of a neat thing when you look at it. Okay, let's look at just a few more here. Okay, let's look at a few more. This one right here, f of x is really just your y. So you can go to your calculator, and you might think, man, Mr. Purdy, 108, that's way down there. That's actually going to be the vertex. That's going to actually be the bottom of the parabola. All we care about are the x-intercepts. Now, we could factor out a 3 and factor it the other way. We could do square roots. There's many ways to do this. I just want to show you another way today, which is the calculator. So 3x squared, go to y equals, hit clear. So we're going to type in 3x squared minus 108. Your calculator will do it for you. And by the way, some of you are probably thinking, Mr. Purdy, what if the x-intercepts are like decimals and fractions and weird stuff? That's the quadratic formula. That's next week. So for now, everything's going to be nice and convenient. It's going to be nice and integers, positive and negative, that kind of thing. So looking at this real quick, where does this parabola, by the way, would go all the way down to -108. Okay, but we only care about these. And look at it. It's 2, 4, 6, so +6 and -6. And we're done. So this answer is going to be, actually I should be continue to write the answers here. +6, and the order doesn't matter, and -6. And we're done. Now, some of this on the video, I'm gonna ask you to actually do a little bit of work here. So what we want to do, normally we'd move the 13 over and take square roots, but this is the calculator week. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this 36 over, because remember it has to be equal to 0. To put it in the calculator, it has to be equal to 0. So what we're going to get is x squared. What you have is -13 minus 36. When the 36 comes over to the left, now you're going to get -49. Now, you probably already know it's going to be +7 and -7. Well, let's just try it. So this is what you want to put in the calculator. Okay, you have to put it into calculator when it's solved for y or 0. So now it's ready for the calculator. So go to y equals. You got to clear it every time, and we'll go x squared. We'll go x squared minus 49. Hit the graph key. Where does it cross? Only matters where it crosses the x-axis, and this would be -7 and +7. By the way, on the homework, I'm really not going to require a whole lot of work. It's just I'm just kind of trust you that you actually really tried this and not just put the answers down, that kind of thing. So please do that. And if your calculator is not working or you still don't have a graphing calculator, you can go to the Desmos app, DESMOS, and you can pull that up. And you'll be able to do just fine with that. Okay, a couple more here real quick. This is all calculus. This isn't going to take very long. The problem with this one is the -30 needs to be moved over here. So to put it in the calculator, we're going to need to go -2x squared, -2x squared. Now remember from last week, this is going to open down. This parabola is going to open down like this, like the arch in St. Louis. It's going to open down. Okay? And now we're going to move the -30 over, so it's a +30. Remember, it has to be equal to 0. Okay, 0 has to be all by itself. Now we can solve. So this is what's going into the graphing calculator. Go ahead and try it. What you might want to do is maybe hit the pause button on this video and just let yourself try a few of these, and then check your answers with me. Okay, the negative, don't forget the negative key down below under the 3. Don't hit the subtraction key. Negative, so negative 2x squared minus 4x. By the way, one of the additional sections we would be doing if we had a regular school year is graphing these by hand, okay, with a T-chart. The calculator does help you with that. But since we have the calculator, I don't think we really, this is one thing we decided we can kind of skip. Okay, hit the graph key. Now, where does it cross the x-axis? Look at it carefully. This is going to be, there's no decimals here. It's all going to be nice and even. So negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So negative 5 and 3. See where it crosses at negative 5 and it crosses at 3. Okay, so what we want to do here is we know that this one is going to be negative 5 and negative 3. Any order you want. Any order you want. It's funky looking bracket thingies. If you use parentheses, your teacher's going to think it's an ordered pair next year. Okay, or in Algebra 2. All right, doesn't matter which one we do next. I'll just do this one. This one's already ready for the calculator. Again, I'm going to keep moving with the video. You might want to just try it. It's very easy, but you might want to just try it. It is x squared minus 10x minus 10x plus 21. Okay, hit the graph key. Remember, we're finding the x-intercepts, the roots, the zeros, the solutions. And what you have here is 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 and 7. By the way, one other way you can do this, if you can see my cursor right here in the middle, this is the table. Notice that whenever y is 0 on the table, so if we went to the table, the blue key and the graph key, whenever the y is 0, that's the answer. So see how it says y is 0 and it's 3? That's 3. So when you go down, when 7, when x is 7, okay, the y should be 0. So that's how you know that 3 and 7 are the answers. You can find that from the table too. Just look for when the y is 0. Okay. In fact, I'll just show you. I'll just show you real quick. You can see real quick. Okay, if I go down, okay, notice that 3, 0, and I'll bet you $100 is going to be 7, 0, and there it is, 7, 0. Okay, so that's how you know that that's the answer from the table. Okay, let me go back up here for the next problem. Okay, let's go here. Let me just do these. Let's just do these real quick. We did that one, so that one was 7 and 3, I believe, right? Okay, this one right here, this one's a little special. Stay with me on this one. Okay, really watch this one carefully. This is one of those special types. So when you go to your calculator, we're going to go x squared. We're going to go x squared minus 14x plus 49. It's going to be kind of a short video, so just stay with me on this, please. Now, hit the graph key. This one's different. Watch this one carefully. This is not going to actually cross at 7. This is going to touch at 7. And the reason it touches and not crosses is that this is a double root. I'll show you this on the other screen. Just know right now your answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Crosses at 7. At 7. So here's what we're going to do. Let me show you this real quick. If you were to factor this, what you would get is x minus 7. I'm doing this super quick because we already know our factoring. And x minus 7. Remember, this is one of those special types. This is a clone. So when you have an answer, this answer is 7. So is this. So when you have a duplicate answer, the parabola is actually just going to be touching the x-axis, not really crossing, just touching it. And we call that a double root, if you remember that from last time. Okay, let's finish this up here. The rest of these are just going to be like some SOL questions. Okay, this is a y, so let's put this in. In fact, let's put it in just like we see it. We could FOIL this and put it in that way. And by the way, you can tell by looking, you know your answer is going to be -4 and +3. Remember from last week? And folks, that's why everything builds on each other. You've got to keep doing the work. If you really want to learn this and be ready for geometry and algebra 2, you have to do this work, folks. It is building and building and building for the next 3 weeks, and then we're done. We're completely done. But you got to stay with me here. Okay, on the calculator, let's hit the y equals key. We'll clear that. Open parentheses above the 8, right above the 8, open parentheses. We'll go x plus 4. I'm moving at kind of a fast pace here because you've got, this is a video, so that you can always just rewind it. X minus 3, pause it if you need to. I'm working on a Bitmoji class for our Jumpstart program over the summer since it's going to be virtual, and I have no idea how to do it. I had to pause a YouTube video and then try it myself, and then play the YouTube video and pause it and try it myself. So it was a process, I'll tell you. Okay, hit the graph key, and the parabola should be at -4 and +3, and it is. If you look at this real quick, you can see you've got 1 at -4 here. Well, hang on, it's not going to let me do that. Okay, I didn't think it was going to let me do that. Normally I can write on this if I hit the button here, but this menu is not always working too well. So -4 and +3 is what we want. So when we go back here, we got it, -4 and +3. Okay, our last one on the calculator, and then we got a couple of just SOL questions I want to show you, is this one. So if you go to your calculator, one more time, and hit this, and hit clear, we're going to go x squared minus x minus 6, and now we're ready. Hit the graph key, and where does it cross the x-axis? That's what we care about. These are the roots, the zeros, the solutions, the x-intercepts. Where? -2 and +3. So you can see our answers are going to be -2 and +3. And had you factored this, I'll do it real quick, had you factored this, you would have gotten x plus 2 and x minus 3. Now, how do I know that? I'm taking the opposite signs from these numbers. Because to get these numbers, you took the opposite signs when you did it forwards. Now when you do it in reverse, you take the opposite signs. And I'll show you that in a minute here. But there's your answer. Okay, -2 and +3 are what we want. Now, let me show you just real quick. I just got about 4 more of these real quick. These are all multiple choice. Okay, this is what this kind of sums it all up. Let's see if you really understand this here. Let's see. Based on the zeros, so the zeros are the x-intercepts. So right here, now I can write on it, and right here. Now, where are those? Those are at 1 and 3. Now, which one of these gives you an answer of 1 and 3? Look at it carefully. In fact, you might want to just pause the video and try it. Just pause the video and try it. Remember, by the way, that these 2's don't count when you solve it. So which one's going to give you a 1 and a 3? And that would be answer choice D. See, that would be 3, +3, and 1. Remember, we're solving. This is equal to 0. So take the opposite signs. So 1 and 3. Okay, next one. Next one. Okay, here's the graph of this is right here, already graphed for you. What are the solutions to the same thing? Now remember the solutions. Folks, half of this is, remember we did functions, it was so easy, but you had to know the vocabulary, Royd and Dixie. This is the same way. This is really easy, but you have to know the vocabulary. Okay, now where are the solutions? Well, right where I put the 2 dots, these are the solutions because those are the x-intercepts. So where are they? -2 and +4. -2 and +4. So C is the answer. It's super easy, folks. You just have to know your vocabulary. All right, 1 or 2 more, and then we'll call it. This was on the test last year. This is a good one. Using 2 of the factors shown, create a possible equation for the graph relation. So now think about this. You know the answer is at -3. You know the answer is at -3 and +2. Those are the solutions. They're asking you for the binomial factors. Now think about this. If the solution is -3, then the binomial has to be x plus 3. Because remember, when you take x plus 3, when you take x plus 3 and set it equal to 0, I'm almost done, 5 more minutes, folks, and set it equal to 0, then -3 is a solution. So if you know that -3 is a solution, working backwards, then you know that x plus 3 is a factor. Hopefully you see this. Okay? If you know that 2 is a solution, then to get 2, we had to have x minus 2 equals 0. Okay, you're working backwards, so you basically just take the opposite sign. So if +2 is a solution, then x minus 2 is the binomial factor. If you're still not sure about this, bring your questions to me on Tuesday or Thursday of next week. And by the way, don't forget, this is Memorial Day weekend. Make sure you take some time. I know a lot of you families are military. Just take some time and remember those people who have served or who are serving, or maybe who will serve. Maybe you know someone in high school or college, and that's their plan to go in the military. So thoughts and prayers for them as you hopefully have some time with friends and family this weekend. Remember, stay safe. Keep that 6-foot distance between you if you can, and really just enjoy. Even if you're throwing a burger or a hot dog or chicken on the grill or something like that, and just really enjoy it. And I know some of you are celebrating Ramadan and that kind of thing, but hopefully you can kind of remember that too during that holiday too. I don't want to forget that. Okay, last one. This is the last one, or is there one more? No, that's it. Last one. We'll do a quizzes on when we do class. Okay, I want you to try this one. Hit the pause on the video, please, and just give this one a try. Okay, hopefully you tried it. X-intercepts, remember, are the solutions. So here's a solution, and here's a solution. So if it's -4, then we want x plus 4. X plus 4. If it's 5, then we want x minus 5. And by the way, the order you put these binomials doesn't matter. You could have x minus 5 first and then x plus 4, okay? And that's equal to f of x or 0 or y. Same thing. F of x, y, 0, it's all the same thing when you solve. So there's your answer. We're looking at to answer choice A. Okay. That's good. That's it. Kind of a short video today. I just want to, I want to give you a chance to just watch this and just kind of learn it. Stay safe, stay healthy. Love you all. I'll post everything soon, and I'll see you next week.